Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here today. I am actually doing throughout the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to do an impromptu live just to go through, share my planning process with you all, talk about what I'm doing for the upcoming school year, and share some important strategies. So, one of the things that I am going to do for the upcoming school year is I usually take about 2 weeks after the school year to relax and to basically just get my life together, to recuperate, to just get back in the mindset of of things being structured and calm. If you are a new teacher and this is your upcoming year teaching, the last month of school is, I don't want to scare you, but it can be very hectic and insane. So there's usually a lot of things you have to do with paperwork, wrapping up, and all of that great stuff. So I'm about 80% recovered. And just yesterday, I started to slowly get into planning mode. I got my students' WIDA scores back, and for my own personal growth and for their growth, I can say I'm really excited. And so, knowing that, that was another reason why I didn't want to jump into planning because I wanted to know I have the scores, so I want to know what worked, what didn't work this year, and the data to back it up. So 100% of the students that I taught, they grew. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So that was really great that 100% of them grew. They also, a lot of them grew with their reading and their writing, and so I'm just really, really excited about that and to celebrate them. So if they see this, you all, I'm proud of you all. I'll be talking to you all soon about everything. So with knowing that and having that data in hand, now I can kind of start slowly getting into planning for my upcoming school year. And so, one of the strategies that I am going to introduce to you today that I'm going to do, it is called Think, Show, Discuss, Rethink, and Share. So, I was looking for a creative way to do a think, pair, share, and I came across it was Yakimia Schools. They had like a list of instructional strategies they use, and one of them was Think, Show, Discuss, Rethink. And then I was like, you know what, that is a great strategy, but how do I make it my own? So I put think, show, discuss, rethink, and share. So I am going to talk about how I use that strategy this year. So one of my own personal areas of growth, and I've told you all this before, is that I am wanting to grow when it comes to my students speaking. So I really want to be mindful about the strategies that I'm using. So one of the things that I was going to do, and I have like the paper, and I'll flip over to the PDF shortly so you all can see, is like I want to streamline my lesson planning. So it's before, like if I had a strategy like this that I was going to use, I would like literally write out the whole strategy in my lesson plan. But what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to actually print out all of the strategies and the protocols that I'm going to use for the school year, and then I'm going to put them like in a cute little binder of some sort, and that way just write in my lesson plan, think, share, discuss, rethink, and that way I'll know to flip to that strategy when it's time for me to teach it. So right here is the strategy, and I'm going to flip through. I'm going to go over to the PDF. So I'm going to switch screens and go over to the PDF. And with that, I'm going to basically talk to you all about like how I plan on using it and like the prep work behind it. So, like I said, this strategy focuses on all four domains. It focuses on listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So, I'm going to try to use this a lot, especially at the beginning of the lessons. So, the prep work, I'm going to plan with the end in mind. I'm just going to ask myself, what do I want my students to be able to do at the end of this lesson? So, doing this, I want to go with the mind frame. What do I want the students to achieve at the end of this lesson? And then based on that question, I'm going to create some higher order thinking questions beforehand during the lesson. One of the things that I tell people when I go out and coach is that when you're doing it on the fly, it's really, really hard to do. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get some really great questions on the fly, but I really encourage you all to come up ahead of time the higher order thinking questions that you want before the lesson. Also, you want to prep where the students are going to record their thinking. For example, are they going to record their thinking on whiteboards? Are they going to do it on a graphic organizer? Are you going to have anchor charts around the room for them to record their thinking? Where are you going to want them to record those thinking? So their thinking. So beforehand, get all of that prepared so you can be mindful about the strategy that you're doing with the lesson. So I'm trying to make this a little bigger for you all. Okay, so that's my prep work. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go over the directions with you all. So the first part is think. So what I'm going to do is present a high order thinking question. Usually I'm going to do one, depending on the student starting out, I may scaffold the question, start at the lower level of blooms and then work my way up. But the goal for myself and for the students is that we just start off or ease into those the top 3 levels of blooms. So like analysis, them synthesizing, them creating, okay? And I'm going to present them a higher order thinking question, and I'm going about the topic or the prompt. And I'm going to give them 2 to 3 minutes. Now, if I have newcomers, I am going to provide some scaffolding questions for them to kind of prompt and encourage the thinking. But if I have long-term ESL students and intermediate students, no, they're not getting no, not getting those scaffolding questions, right? I want them, if they are 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe with a 3, but 4 or 5, level 6 in certain areas and domains, I want to take away some of those supports at this point for them. So after that, after they think about it, and one more thing, also while they're thinking, I'm thinking about playing soft music, like relaxing music. I'm throwing it in there because that worked really well for me last year. It really created a welcoming environment. So it may seem like something really small, but I would encourage you all to get like a nice little playlist of jazz or study music going for the students. I had a couple of students ask me, like, Miss Williams, hey, can you put on that, put on YouTube that music, the soft music that you're playing? So it is a really, really great tool and a really great strategy just to throw that in there. So the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show the students, or the students are going to show me rather, their thinking through graphic organizers, through drawing, through charts, through doodling. So however they want to express their thinking to me. Some days, not at first, but on some of these occasions, I will give them a choice. But at first, I want to go ahead and structure it for them to where they show me that, hey, they know how to do this. So at first, it's going to be very structured, but as the year goes on and we start to build trust and I can see that they can do it a little bit more independently, then I'm going to start giving them some choices. After they do that, and like I said, that'll take about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the group, I'm going to have them then discuss. I'm going to pair the students to discuss their visual thinking. I'm going to encourage them to use academic language. I'm going to encourage them to compare and contrast, and I'm going to encourage them to ask questions during this time. So I'm more than likely going to give them on the longer end for 3 minutes, but we'll go ahead and ease into that as well. But during this time, I'm going to set clear expectations of how the discussion looks like. I also want to throw out there as well that if you have accountable talk, sentence frames, anchor charts, this will be a great opportunity as well to share those with them and give them an additional support. So if they're in a discussion, they can use those sentence frames to boost some of their speaking. And I just thought about this as well. This is also a great time to practice register. I know in WIDA, one of the things that they talk about on their level 5 and level 6 rubric is register. So this is a great time to practice this. I can say, students, you are now speaking to a professional. Talk as you're speaking to a professional. Or students, you're speaking to a friend. Speak to like you're speaking to a friend. So for them to be able to switch to register during these discussion time as well. Also, the next step is rethink. So after the discussion, I want them to go back and rethink. And if they want to, go ahead and modify the visual learning with what they learned from their discussion. Students can also, like I said, add to this based on their discussion. So when you're talking to people, they may have expressed something that you missed. So this will be a good opportunity for the students to see, oh, I missed that. I want to add that to my visual thinking, or I want to add that to my graphic organizer or my notes. So I'm going to use this opportunity for them to go back, take about 1 to 3 minutes, rethink, and then add to their notes. And the last thing is I'm going to have them share out. So another speaking portion in this as well. I'm going to pick students to share their visual learning with the class. And I'm going to use this as an opener to go into the next lesson, to go into the next discussion, to close out the lesson as well. So as you can see, during this strategy, we are targeting the 4 domains, which is listening, they're reading, they're speaking, and they are writing. So this is going to be a great strategy to use with my students, and I'm really excited. Now, I did put some important notes that I wanted myself to remember. One of the things is to monitor the students during the activity. I want to do this to make sure that they are keeping up with the expectations of the activity. So I'm going to make sure that I'm monitoring them, and as I'm monitoring for them, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to adjust when needed. So I want to add that in there. And this strategy is going to be great for all students, not just ELLs. There was a recent article that I saw pop up on my timeline about how these type of activities can benefit introverted students as well. So I put that as a note to myself. And I can also use this strategy before a lesson, during a lesson, and after a lesson. So I'm really excited about the strategy and how it's going to play out in my classroom. So, as I mentioned before, we are going to have a online training. It's free. I would love for you to show up. It's for middle school and high school ESL teachers. And in this training, we are going to be talking about my 3 secrets for planning for English language learners to set your year up for success. So, to be a part of this training, one of the requirements is that you're a middle school and high school teacher. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you are motivated and you are ready to start your school year off right. So if that is you, go to myadventuresinESL.com/planning, jump in. You're probably thinking, oh, hey, I want one of these. I want one of these for my students. Join me in the online training and you will get 5 of these strategies already prepped for you, and you may even get some more. Just really, I know for sure you'll definitely get 5 of these. Like I said, I'm planning for my school year, so I've already done 5, and I'm in the mood to do a few more. So as many as I do, I'll definitely share this with you during the free online training. So if you haven't already, go to myadventuresinESL.com/planning. Jump in, sign up for the training. We have one on June the 15th, and we have a training on June the 17th, and we'll have some after as well. But I definitely want you all to get in with those trainings. You have about maybe 5 or 6 more days to sign up for it. So join myadventuresinESL.com. Remember, once you get in there, you will get a free set of these strategies that you can use with your students. You can use for yourself, you can share, so it will be really great. So once again, myadventuresinESL.com/planning. Join me next Saturday as I share the strategies, and I will see you all in a day or so where I come back and I'll share my next strategy with you all. Thank you all for joining, and have a great day.